And I hope your deliberations are going to be fruitful, meaningful, and that all of us will go back with enthusiasm to build something new and lasting for our societies. It's a great pleasure and honor to welcome all of you.
Now, why this conference? In 2008, when we went through a financial crisis globally, everybody was screaming from the rooftops about how things had gone wrong and how terrible each one had been, and how they were going to change everything so that the problem would never occur again. And lo and behold, 2 years later, when things started easing off, we started going back to business as usual. As a result of which, in Europe, whereas there was some sort of a relaxation of the crisis in America, in Europe, the situation has remained fairly tense and fairly difficult. And lo and behold, the people who seem to be responsible are the very people who created the first crisis. In 2009, when we had our CIB conference here, we had tried to bring this to the fore and discuss some of the ways in which we could remedy the situation and maybe learn from the mistakes we had made. Apparently, our discussions were not forceful enough because they apparently didn't have the effect we were hoping they would have. In 2011, we repeated this, the theme of sustainability. Most people tended to say that our main focus is on growth because we cannot sustain the economy unless we grow. But under the smokescreen of growth, all the old practices which everybody had sworn not to use were back in fashion.
People will say business corporations have to do something beyond business. Business is a part of the society, and so on and so forth, as if we are trying to recreate the thing. But the original purpose of not only Tata Steel, of some of the other companies in the world which had come about 200, 300 years ago, is that it is to do public good. Of course you must make profits. Of course you must run your enterprises well. But today what has happened, because of the increased competition and increased globalization and increase in size of the businesses and wanting to become bigger and bigger and make more and more profit and succeed, against competition and somehow win a tender or get an order or get some lease and so on and so forth, lots of practices which we would have considered abnormal and unethical have almost become normal. And today it almost looks as if you need to be corrupt, or you need to engage in unethical practices, you need to engage in abnormal practices in order to succeed in business.
What is business? Is business making money? A la Milton Friedman? Profit, profit, and profit. Nothing else. I totally disagree. To me, business is an economic activity undertaken and balancing interests of every stakeholder in that business. An economic activity that balances the interests of all the stakeholders is a business. The businesses which balance the interests of every stakeholder live almost to perpetuity. They are remembered with fondness and respect. Irrespective of the hat that you wear, you like to be associated with that business.
We should keep high moral standards. I mean, the business leader is the first priority, first responsibility. Second, we should take long-term perspective of the company. Third, we should keep respect for human dignity. I think that is the key to solve the problems and questions we face directly.
For us, or for me, it's very important that we tend for people's needs and not what people want. And the same thing with ourselves, that we focus on what we need and not what we want necessarily. Who is it that I am? What is it that I'm here for? And who is it that I wish to influence? And then with the organizations that we lead in our daily life, it's who are we? Who are we as people? What are we here for? What is it that we want to do and who is it that we wish to influence?
In the context of the immense social challenges that we face, especially in India, it might seem there isn't really a debate about the case for humane business. Intellectually, we might find it difficult to quarrel with today's theme of business beyond the bottom line. But many of us, even while recognizing the need for change, continue proceeding in the way we have always been used to. Our obsession with growth or with shareholder and analyst interest to the exclusion of many other equally important facets of national life continues. We sometimes get fixated on growth, and it is necessary to remind ourselves that growth will be meaningless if it is not anchored in a set of healthy values, if it does not make the benefits available to a larger number of people, the millions who don't have any stake in the economic gains of our country.
One of the big learnings for me has been that being ethical has been the best business strategy. It has really enhanced our business not only qualitatively, even quantitatively.
If you are not socially responsible, you will be held accountable. You have to say thank you to your consumers, to your stakeholders, and the thank you can be via your social responsibility, via being socially engaged, via your social responsiveness to the problems in your community.
I strongly believe that if the leaders have the courage and the conviction to remain ethical, then there is enough business for all of us to be on the right side of our conscience and successfully do our business without any need to be corrupt.
This is more than I expected. So many young people and senior people gathering and exchange views and friendships. This is a wonderful occasion that they rethink about themselves and the future, what they can serve for the humanities.
Amazing I am very, very struck and encouraged by CIB, and particularly I'm struck by the storytelling of people at the, if you like, at the sharp end of business and economic life, and the struggles they've had and the way that they have overcome them in the most ethical way possible, with a spirit of real integrity in the way they operate their businesses. We've heard, for instance, of one businessman here who said he turned down a contract that would have doubled his turnover because it was the most corrupt purchasing department that he'd come across. And he stood against that, and eventually he did win the contract on the basis of integrity. And I think it's that kind of stance that is so impressive, because it takes a great deal of courage to do that kind of thing.
Those who intend to start businesses, they themselves are the engine of that business. And it's not the business that is the engine, but they are the engine. And therefore the question of character and ethics comes in. If they put things right in their own lives and have good relationships with others, definitely their businesses are going to flourish.